we've just been going nonstop, for the last, I don't know how long it's been. But, yeah, exciting, exciting times, getting to know new staff now. I think Mike's done an awesome job putting his staff together, and it's been pretty cool to see his process after, we went through our process of hiring a head coach. Now to see him turn around and have his own process of putting a staff together has been exciting. It's been eye-opening. It's been meeting a lot of people. We learned a lot through the whole process. A lot of lessons, a lot of new ideas, and yeah, we're just getting to know each other. It's crazy. It's 15 years ago Pete and I were here together, and it doesn't seem that long ago. Just trying to get to know each other, understand each other's philosophies, and yeah, so it's exciting times. Who? No, I used to babysit him. Yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate that. No, he was always around us. He was always in the draft room with us. He was always sitting in our offices, always taking in as much information as he possibly could. Always, had very, very strong opinions. If you ask him, I think he thought he was all conference, and I'm not sure he ever played it down for the high school. It's a little dig there, Elliot. He was just really into it, and then we hired him back. He went to Miami, went to school down there, was working in our scouting department. One of those first jobs that really existed. So went down there and then came back, and Reggie and John Dorsey and Ted Thompson and myself hired him back, and he just took off. So I'm happy. I haven't had a chance to really talk to him too much, but I'm happy everything's turned out for him there.
John, you made the decision that was right for you, but I'd like to ask you quickly about Patrick Graham. He's a guy that at some point in this league is going to get a job. Can you talk about what impression you thought him, sir, please?
Oh, wow. His enthusiasm, his intelligence, he had a lot of energy, he had a lot of presence. When he came through the building, everybody felt him in the building. It was really important for us to bring the candidates in and have them experience what we viewed as, and this is not an arrogant thing, but it's just kind of like the firepower that we have in the building, and whether that's sports science, our analytics group, equipment, player personnel, obviously PR. But no, he came through, spent a ton of time with everybody, and everybody really enjoyed their visit. So yeah, he's got a bright future. I look forward to trying to hook up with him down here and get caught up. Yeah.
What stood out
to you? No, this is like a blast. This is awesome. Yeah. I am 50. I'm not 52. I'm not 52. I'm not 52. Go ahead. I'm feeling old.
What stood out to you about him, and what do you think will make him successful?
Very strong in his opinions. Former player that came in and really bought into our process, our different processes, I should say. Spent the time. Wanted to learn, didn't think he had all the answers. We looked to him for a lot of, answers that and we were really curious with him, how he looked at the game, how he viewed the game. So he just always had a huge brain in terms of understanding, trying to understand, the personnel side of it, and he was just really into it all the time. And then, became a personal confidant of mine. So from a player standpoint, understanding what the locker room's going through. Yeah, he's great. Yeah, who's next? Red Cochran? Yeah, okay.
It's been a while since you worked with Brian.
Yeah.
From your perspective on the outside, what has he done so well that's kept them competitive?
Steady. He's just been steady, always has been. He did an internship in Green Bay, and then we hired him in Kansas City. And he's just always been, he coached. He was like a JV, I think at lacrosse. Yeah, he was a coach at lacrosse on the JV team. Never wavers, just a real steady, even-keeled, works his tail off. In my opinion, he's a very forward communicator. We can have conversations on the phone and get caught up in about 10 minutes, which I personally like. So, yeah. No, and obviously this year the way the quarterback played and everything, Love was happy for him. Everything, it's not easy. I'm really happy for him. I apologize. I can't hear you.
How do you see the offense split between King Walker and Zach Charbonnet, and how do those two guys play off each other?
Yeah, they're different backs. That's going to be up to Coach Grubb and the offensive staff. How they want to use those guys. We have several guys in that room that we really like, and so those two guys are obviously very talented. All four of our guys have different skill sets. So really looking forward to seeing how the coaching staff views their strengths, and if they have deficiencies, tries to kind of hide those deficiencies, but more importantly, accentuate the positives with those guys.
John, in terms of quarterbacks, when you see the big returns, red flags in the evaluation, does it have to be something catastrophic like that? Just breaking down the tape, watching.
Interceptions, low ball carriage, ball coming out, how they handle themselves in the pocket, people that aren't confident in their abilities. I think you just look at the guys, the way they handle themselves through a football game. When you see guys play live, it's really important to see how they interact with their teammates and to see how they respond to the really tough things that they've just gone through. So, I know you hear people talk about corners all the time. Can they turn the page and react to a play they just gave up or something like that, explosive play or something? But quarterbacks, same thing. And how they interact with their teammates when they come off the field, how they're interacting with the quarterback or the head coach. And yeah, just that calm, steady, competitive field vision, tough, competitive. You asked me what I didn't like, so now I had to go back to what I do like. So
How do you assess this year's class?
I would assess this year's class A, B, C. It's a good group. I know where you're going. It's a good group. Greg, I've told you guys in the past, having grown up in the Packer organization and worked for Ron Wolf, 14 drafts, only drafting 2 quarterbacks, is not something that we're necessarily proud of. It's just it's happened that way. Excuse me. And every year it's a goal to try to acquire a quarterback, and whether that's a draft, free agency, whatever it looks like. But yeah, this year's draft class is a cool group. A lot of variances in there. Honestly, it doesn't matter. No, I understand the question, but no, you're always. It's every year. It's just literally, if you guys sat in there with us, it's literally like, okay, this one's coming, and then it doesn't happen. Or that one's coming, and it doesn't happen.
Do you consider Geno the starter right now, and what kind of you
Yeah, I would think yes, a starter until he's not. Really, this our coaches aren't down here with us, guys. So we're basically what we're doing is, we have a vision, we have a plan for what we're doing. Next week when we get back in the office after kind of learning the landscape down here, talking to all the agents, all the other teams, what we're going to learn throughout the week, kind of coming around the corner next week, getting back with those guys, with the new staff, with Mike's staff in place, and then, getting our alignment and, really asking for patience from all of our players. It's, all the guys that are free agents and the guys that, are still kind of, on the team looking to just talk to their position coach, and I'm sure those guys are doing that this week, and I know some guys have already reached out and everything, but really just finishing up the staff last maybe Thursday or Friday. So sorry. Yeah. No. Dave Canales and yeah.
Is there something you can see when a guy's that young, like he's either got it or he doesn't? And maybe what did you see in those two?
Yeah, Dave was very intelligent, clear thinking, even keeled, but you can just tell the guy has his stuff together, right? You just you look at him, he's totally fit, smart. Brad, I worked with Brad's dad for a long time, and I worked with his dad for probably 3 or 4 years, and I've known his dad for a long time. So when we moved to Seattle, he was playing. I think he was a junior in high school and had a really bad knee injury. So he was rehabbing around the building a lot, got to know him at a young age, and then got to know him when he was at Stanford. And he just Yeah, you just knew he's like a highly organized, you know, great work ethic. But you know, everybody works so hard in this business. You have to have a sense of humor, and they both do. And neither one of those guys takes themselves real serious. I can't tell you yet. You know, it's early in the process. This is the week everybody kind of lays out what they think people are going to make in the market, and then we go from here over the next, excuse me, you know, a couple months, and we see where it goes. It's not like you go in there saying, okay, well, you know, this group is, you compare the groups or whatever. You got to compare the individuals, and then you know, maybe more salary cap space this year helps that out. I'm not sure. Yeah, I would say with Coach Carroll and Shane and Coach Joseph and you know, obviously Dave, instilling confidence in Geno. Geno had a certain level of confidence about him, and then once Pete named him the starter, he really took off. Excuse me. So I would say with that group, with Dave and Brad being there, with Bryce again, it's instilling confidence in him. You know, those guys spent a lot of time with Geno after practice, a lot of time with Drew, Sean Mannion, and so I don't want to speak for them, but I would think they would, you know, have the same approach with Bryce. Sorry, I missed you. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to mess with him, right? I mean, you're like, I want that guy in a dark alley with me, right? I mean, no, his intensity, his football intelligence was always a really good teacher for us, and a really good communicator. I think that really stood out for us right away. But yeah, I just was able to see him last night and give him a big hug, and I still can't get my hands around his back, you know. It's funny you bring up Elliott's name. No, I was able to talk about it a little earlier. I was very close with his dad, obviously. Babysat. Basically, we didn't babysit Elliott, but, I mean, like, basically did. He was in the office with us all the time. And honestly, I always viewed him kind of like a little brother, really. You know, just he's asked me for advice over the years and everything. And, you know, unfortunately, having moved, you know, been away from the Packers now for, you know, 15 years or whatever, we haven't stayed as close a contact as I would have liked. He's probably happy about that, but yeah, just highly intelligent. Work with, obviously being around his father, seeing his father's interaction with Coach Holmgren at a young age, and then Coach Sherman. You know, all those coaches that were on that staff, it was like an all-star staff. Andy Reid and, you know, John Gruden and Marty Morning. You've seen the staff, so. Yeah, much like his father, you know, could rip off stats, jersey numbers, you know, all that stuff was always very impressive with that. The Ravens scheme. Yeah, I mean the illusion of complexity, like everybody talks about, and you can see it on film, and it's the product, right? You're watching it. You saw it happen several times this year. You saw it happen in Michigan this year. You know, a couple years ago when Mike was at Michigan as well, and then where he's taken that defense is really impressive. Mike is a very clear-thinking, you know, highly intelligent guy that can, like, you know, was just super impressed in the short, like, speed dating time we did with his wife, Steph, and, like, you know, just like be able to have a really strong conversation with somebody and then kind of jump into a different conversation that's a little bit more lightheaded and then get back to business real quick. That was something that really stood out. So I can imagine the conciseness of his teaching when he's in a room with, you know, a defense with a team. Sorry. Yeah, he gives you a look. Yeah, but then he can snap out of it, and you kind of looks at you like, what, you know. So, but I have one of those too. So we're kind of trying to get to know each other. He's got a much better sense of humor than like all the background people gave him credit for. He's very well read, and, you know, I told one of the coaches who was coming in interview with us, I was like, Yeah, he's like a 36-year-old guy that has the maturity of a 60-year-old. And he's like, great, I'm turning 60 next month, and I have the maturity of a 36-year-old, so maybe this will work out.
John, not looking at the day you were this offseason. It's been 14 years since you came as part of the GM.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll here the entire time. How different is the dynamic, or how different do you expect the dynamic to be without having the coaching staff here and not Pete Carroll here instead of the
I don't. I think that's kind of where it's going. Over the years now, last several years, there's been a lot of staffs that have not come down, or some of the coaches have just kind of come down for, the interviews, or our personnel staff does a great job of filming the interviews, getting the questions we want answered in the videos, and then throughout the process as well into the spring, all the Zoom interviews that we do, we're constantly studying those, and so. The dynamic with Pete in particular and Mike is not, it's a true partnership. So that part's not going to be different. It's going to be, our personnel staff kind of learning these coaches, understanding what's important to them, and letting them, have the trust in our system and, the processes that we've developed over the last, 15 years.
One more question. One more.
When you come down into this draft process, first you take in for you, what do you think is what's the most important thing that you take out of it when you go back to Seattle?
It's really more the person than the football part. Obviously, when we're interviewing the players, there's certain things that can stand out. We never really think our philosophy is that we don't feel like we have all the answers. Even when they come in the building, we're still learning these guys. So, we're trying to figure out, how to build the questions upon questions to dig further into the person and understand the person. So when they come into the building, we're able to help them out as much as we possibly can. Football, personal character, nutrition, the whole nine. Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
Appreciate you.